Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. So the first fight on this crazy Riyadh season card on February 22nd, according to the running order on the fight poster here, is Joshua Buatsi versus Callum Smith. This will be for Buatsi's WBO interim world light heavyweight title. Buatsi unbeaten, of course, 19-0, 13 KOs. Born in Ghana, but based in Croydon, South London. 31 years of age, 6'2", 74.5-inch reach. You could describe his style as boxer-puncher, but leaning more heavily towards the puncher. He's coming off a good win in a very entertaining fight against Willie Hutchinson. That was on the Dubois-Joshua undercard at Wembley in September. Prior to that, he beat Dan Aziz in February. So Buatsi's on a little bit of a roll now, going up against Callum Smith, who's a former world champion at 168 pounds. Born and raised in Liverpool in the United Kingdom. He's 30-2, 22 wins by knockout. Those two defeats being to Canelo Alvarez, who beat him on points, and Artur Beterbiev, who stopped him in January of this year. As I say, 34 years of age, 6'3", 78-inch reach. He just had a comeback win this past weekend following the Beterbiev defeat over a guy called Carlos Galvan, basically a journeyman, who Smith managed to get out of there in 5 rounds. Now, there had been some speculation that Smith was actually going to retire following that Beterbiev fight, given how one-sided it was. Perhaps Smith was thinking, you know what, if I can't be champion, then I don't even want to stick around. There's no point in me fighting on. But this is prize fighting at the end of the day. And if they offered Callum Smith a king's ransom to come back and fight Joshua Buatsi in Saudi Arabia, it would have been pretty hard to turn down. So here he is going up against Joshua Buatsi. Now, stylistically, I think this is a really interesting fight because both guys are actually somewhat similar. They're both tall guys. Again, Buatsi 6'2", Callum Smith 6'3", although Smith has the significantly longer reach. He doesn't really tend to use his reach that well. He tends to fight in close quarters and mid-range. Smith is the more experienced of the two, certainly at the higher levels, having been in there against Canelo and Beterbiev. But I want to say that Joshua Buatsi is the fresher of the two. He's no spring chicken at 31, but he hasn't really had a lot of punishing fights. And of course, he's still unbeaten. So psychologically, he's fresh. But I think this is going to be a really interesting fight. I think it will be competitive. I think it will be back and forth, to and fro at times. Both guys are good body punchers. Both guys have got good power. Both guys are decent at counter-punching, although I'd say Callum Smith is a bit better in that regard. But I just feel as though Joshua Buatsi has a bit more momentum. I think his confidence will be a little higher. And I suspect he'll be the physically stronger of the two. Joshua Buatsi is a very physically strong fighter. And I reckon that extra bit of strength and freshness will get Buatsi over the line. I expect him to beat Callum Smith probably on points. If he gets the stoppage, I think it will be quite late on. But as I've already said, stylistically, I think this will make for a good fight because both guys like to come forward. They like to be aggressive. Neither guy does that much holding, not normally anyway. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comment section below. And before I go, don't forget to like this video. It really helps out the channel. Share the video as well and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And also make sure you check out my content on Patreon. I just uploaded this video about Julian Jackson and Gerald McClellan, where I analyze actual video footage of several of their fights in the run-up to their historic and brutal middleweight clash between two of the biggest punchers pound for pound in boxing history. If you want to access this video along with hundreds of hours worth of other exclusive boxing content, as well as our members chat, just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called the Boxing Brotherhood. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.